It doesn't matter what your reasons are, whether the money or the fame. The sooner your audience grows, the happier you will be. After all, your time is more valuable than money. Ask any dying man. If you don't already stream but you've been thinking about it, I'm going to tell you how you can hit the ground running audience wise. And if you do already stream, I'm going to tell you how you can expand your existing audience even further. I'm going to explain this in a roundabout way, but by the time I'm done, you'll have a threefold understanding of how the shortest way to your desired outcome oftentimes isn't the most obvious straight path forward, but instead around. Now, you're probably aware of how Twitch streamers upload their highlights to YouTube and TikTok, but do you understand why? The benefit of doing this is it bends time in your favor. Let me show you. Let's say your goal is to become big and strong. Exercise can make you stronger, but without bulking up first, your gains will be mitigated, limited, capped, because there's a ceiling. In other words, lean bulking just isn't a thing. Therefore, the indirect method of putting on weight by eating larger portions to then transform that weight into muscle, otherwise known as cutting, by weightlifting, is actually the quickest way to a big, strong, aesthetic physique. That was example number one. Example number two. Let's say your goal is to smash this baddie you recently met, and she's agreed to come over to your place to watch a movie. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Except, once she got there, she specifically told you, this ain't a Netflix and chill night, Playboy. It's just a Netflix and chill night. Here's how you respond to that. Cool. I'm actually 10 times more interested in watching this movie than in, you know. So even though you're here, please don't take it the wrong way that I'll be ignoring you for the rest of the night. Then you hit play and you wait. You will not make it through the movie before she jumps on you. Guaranteed. Therefore, this indirect method of pursuing relations by showing zero interest in doing it with her is, in this context, the quickest way to assure you arrive at that objective. This is what we call obliquity. Simply put, obliquity is the arrival at a destination or objective through indirect means, because often the direct route is much slower or much more difficult, maybe even both. And this obliquity we're speaking of explains why you should be using YouTube not only for VOD storage, but as your streaming service to build your Twitch audience. Because the quickest way to grow on a streaming platform that has no search engine optimization is to convert an audience that already exists. Instead of just using YouTube as your dump site for Twitch and Kick highlights and replays, stream on both. I'm referring to multi-streaming, which is made possible by installing a single app on a Windows PC. This allows you to bend time by being in 2 or 3 places at once, or at the very least, prioritize building your presence on YouTube and subsequently invite that growing audience to your streaming platform of choice. What would your YouTube channel be about, you ask? Make it about you. YouTube. Give people an idea of what they can expect to see when they tune into your streams. Make videos about your personal challenges, your expertise, your hobbies, and your goals. Because it is through obliquity that you will most quickly build an audience on a winner-takes-all platform like Twitch. I learned this by committing to a 30-day streaming challenge on Twitch. The purpose of this challenge was to see how much you can grow in 30 consecutive days of streaming. But before my 4th day of streaming, I realized I could have replaced 30 days of streaming with 30 days worth of YouTube uploads, and encouraging whatever subscriber count resulted from that challenge, whether 5 or 50, to come over and join my revisited 30-day streaming challenge on Twitch or Kick or TikTok or whatever's clever. It was a bombshell of a revelation, one that I thought was worth sharing with you. Now, hopefully you're seeing the common denominator between all of these examples. leveraging the strengths of XYZ to build and support ABC. ABC being the main and XYZ being the uh, the indirect. You see, the complexities of our universe seem to be chaotic and different, but in a lot of ways, they're just varying degrees of the same thing, showing up from the macro to the micro in synonymous ways. And thanks to both high IQ and autism, these recurring themes, these similitudes, show up to me like neon signs. And I decided, instead of hiding these attributes of mine and shying away from what makes me different, why not lean all the way into it and make a YouTube channel that allows my quirk to function as your entertainment, your education, allow what in many ways manifested as weaknesses in my life to be your strengths. And those who appreciate it will appreciate it, and those who have nothing to gain from it, they're free to ignore it. So those were three examples of the very same thing, the very same pattern. And I like to since it's at the front of my mind, give you one more, just as a bonus. Let's say you just met this business guy. He's running a small business. He's making 5K a month in monthly recurring revenue, and his name is John. Things could be better though, and they would be better if he made more money. So ultimately, he wants to reach 10K a month. He's halfway there, but he can't see how to bridge the gap because he's taking every client that's coming to him and he's providing the service that they need. So I say to him, or this would be you. You say to John, John, if I can make it so that your business receives an extra $10,000 a month, would you be willing to give me two of those $10,000? John, being a bright man, he says yes, he agrees. You, being the astute businessman and knowing how shifty human beings can be, you rephrase the question and ask him again, just to be clear. So, John, you're saying that you're willing to pay me $2,000 if I can help you make an extra $8,000 a month to go along with your monthly recurring revenue of 5K. John says, yeah, I'm willing to do that. You and John shake hands and you get to work. John is a very happy man now, and you are, for the foreseeable future, an extra $2,000 richer yourself on a monthly basis. What did you do for John to make him so happy? John was taking every lead he could get and doing all the business he could and was still only making 5K a month. What did you do for John? Here's what you did. You set John up with an AI receptionist and a website so that whenever John has his hands dirty, when he's busy working, anyone who calls into the business, they don't have to decide whether or not they want to leave a voicemail and wait for John to get back to them. No, because when that's the only option, they go on to calling a competitor. That competitor gets John's money. You also make it so that when John shuts down at the end of the day, which is also the same time everyone else gets off of work and has the free time to call John for his services, that whatever call they make also gets answered, even though John is not there. So when John is asleep, when John is away, when John is on the phone talking to someone else, even after business hours, every call that comes in that would have otherwise gone to a competitor is now answered by the receptionist, given a slot on his calendar, and receives John's expertise. This means more leads, more bookings, and more money. But had you started your interaction by trying to sell John an AI receptionist or trying to sell John a website, he might have told you to go kick rocks. But by you selling the result of an extra $8,000 to $10,000 a month, and not a website, not an AI receptionist, in other words, selling the benefits and not the features, you got him to agree to not only the result, but how you would go about getting that result. This is another example of the obliquity we've been talking about here, of going around to get to your destination instead of straightforward. Now, if you enjoyed this video, there's a strong chance you're going to enjoy the rest of what I have planned for this channel. So I'm not going to tell you to subscribe or even like the video. Just come back whenever you're ready. Thank you.